Does this mean the end of playing Mario Golf on the 3DS? Nope. Or other 3DS games for that matter. So is the Nintendo 3DS on its way out? I can't quite say it's dead yet, but given Nintendo's recent comments and just where it is in its life cycle, especially, now that the Nintendo Switch has come out, I would say that I think the 3DS is at best in the twilight of its life, but that definitely doesn't make it a bad system. But let's get into what we heard recently about the 3DS. So recently Nintendo held this investors briefing and Kotaku said that they didn't even mention the 3DS. And Nintendo actually gave them a statement as far as games coming to the 3DS. And it's not exactly the most uplifting of news. And this is what the Nintendo spokesperson said. Quote, "We have nothing new to announce regarding first-party software for the Nintendo 3DS family of systems. We can confirm that new software is coming from third-party publishers." Now, that's not to say that there haven't been any new 3DS games that have come out over the past year. Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn has come out. Yokai Watch 3 also came out. Persona Q2 is scheduled to come to the 3DS worldwide this coming June 4th. And Nintendo Life said that a company called Limited Run is set to release a physical 3DS game as well. So the statement from Nintendo isn't saying, yep, it's dead, we're discontinuing the 3DS. Tomorrow morning, you're not going to see it at Walmarts or GameStops anymore. I don't think that's what the statement is saying, but I definitely get the sense of it feels like the 3DS is in the twilight of its life. Especially when you look at, some of the more recent games released for the 3DS. Games like WarioWare Gold and Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, or at least from what Nintendo says, those games, they're not even released in 3D. I know Yokai Watch 3 is released in 3D, but the three games that I just brought up are not, at least according to Nintendo's website. So it's definitely kind of weird. And they're also WarioWare Gold, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, and Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Those three games are either sequels or ports of past games, so it kind of feels like Nintendo is saying, okay, just release these games with with limited resources, just see if we can make some extra coin, some last extra coin from the 3DS. So I definitely do get that sense. Now, don't take this video as me saying you should sell your 3DS and just go buy a Switch instead. That's not what I'm saying at all, because the 3DS was definitely a really great system. I had a ton of fun, playing games on it, games like Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D World, Fire Emblem Awakening, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater 3D. That in itself is one of my favorite games of all time, and I like how they updated the controls for the 3DS. And even now, even though I've switched to mainly playing games on my Switch, like I enjoy playing Doom and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, and my sis enjoys Dark Souls Remastered, I do occasionally play games on the 3DS from time to time. Like I find myself especially playing games from franchises that you currently cannot get on the Switch itself. Like I often enjoy playing Animal Crossing New Leaf, and I also play a lot of Mario Golf. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this particular new 3DS XL I have, this, I'm not sure if this is a wolf or a cat. My sis put this on the 3DS. And this, we're such Animal Crossing diehards that, I put this flag on here. This is actually an Animal Crossing separatist flag that I designed because my sis is the mayor of our town in Animal Crossing, and I really want to get out. But yeah, the 3DS definitely has had its share of some really fun games, and I'm not saying at all that you should abandon it. What I'm just saying is that I definitely have felt this before. It kind of reminds me of when Breath of the Wild came to the Wii U and Pokemon Black and White 2 came out for the original DS, where even if they weren't like the last games for the particular platform, just the fact that they were like some of the last super flagship games for their respective systems kind of gave the sense that, yeah, they're starting to wind down these systems. And it's definitely something, not just Nintendo systems, but it's just how the cookie crumbles in the video game industry. Once the new system comes out, the once the new system comes out, its predecessor may not, instantly die. It's arguably a bad idea if a company just instantly kills support for that system once the new one comes out. But it definitely starts to wind down over the course of the next few years. It definitely doesn't define that system's legacy. It's just a matter of people want the most current system, and the predecessor starts to fade in the background. So I honestly think that's what's happening here. And I will admit, if Nintendo is just holding surprises for E3 2019, and maybe they do have a few more games for the 3DS, then I'll be sure to let you guys know. I'm definitely planning to cover E3 2019 this year. I will be honest, I do wish they brought more of those games over to the Switch. Like when they brought WarioWare Gold to the 3DS, I honestly wished it was brought over to Switch. I mean, I guess they could have done a thing where like maybe they ported the 3DS version over to Switch or something like that. But it was mainly because I was already playing, my Switch a lot more than my 3DS, and I felt that, especially with a franchise like WarioWare, where we don't get entries all that often, especially these days, I thought it would have been cool if it came to Switch. I think right now the 3DS it's more in the twilight of its life rather than being on its deathbed per se. Kind of a grim example to bring up. But what Kotaku mentioned and what lots of people have been talking about is what will really sign the death knells of the 3DS is if they announce a affordable version of the Switch. Now, Nintendo did say that they're not planning to make hardware announcements at E3 2019, and Kotaku did argue, to be fair, that maybe what Nintendo was doing is maybe they're going to announce something just after E3 2019. Well, they were not exactly sure, but I definitely think that if they do come out with like a more affordable version of the Switch and maybe priced at $199 and make it more portable for kids to take with them, I think that's definitely going to be, it will definitely cannibalize 3DS sales. I mean, yes, there's more affordable versions of the 3DS, but at $199, if they release a more affordable Switch like a Switch Mini or Switch Lite at $199, that's approaching the territory of a new 3DS XL. And I think that, people, lots of people will bite the bullet, especially if they wanted to get a Switch, but the current one was just too large. And I will say I have been experiencing some of those hardware issues with the Switch, things like the warping and even some of the cracking. So if a Switch Mini comes out and it's affordable and it's much better designed, then, I think that's going to hurt the sales of the 3DS. Definitely doesn't make the 3DS a bad system, though. It's definitely a fun system to play, some really great games, and I enjoy it to this day. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Once a new system comes out, its predecessor starts to get, wind down. And we see this with every company, not just Nintendo. Even in the case of like the Wii U and the Switch, once, Breath of the Wild came out for both the Wii U and Switch, it definitely felt as though Nintendo was moving almost all their home console efforts over to the Switch in comparison to the Wii U. And we see this with others also, in the case of like Sony going from the PS3 to the PS4. It may not have been like an immediate decline for the PS3, but it started to wind down as the years went on. So I definitely think that's going on. It's definitely sad because I enjoyed the 3DS. As it would be nice to see some more 3DS games, but at the same time, I'm interested in seeing a lot more games coming to the Switch. But just because it seems like the 3DS is on its last legs, it doesn't mean that, you should sell your 3DS or get rid of it or just go buy a Switch. If you enjoy the 3DS yourself, more power to you. It's definitely a really fun system to have. I'm just speaking in terms of, what's happening in the industry right now. But please post your thoughts down below. Do you think that Nintendo's statement could be a sign that the 3DS is starting to wind down or things like that? Let me know what your favorite 3DS game is. Leave all those thoughts down below. This has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to get notified when I release my latest videos. Follow me at Blood Moon Bobby on your favorite social media platforms to take part in polls, see my tech tips, and to hear about my video plans. Thanks for watching.